Okay, test 1 2 3, test 1 2 3. We're going live here shortly. 1 2 3. Okay, we're live. Hi, I'm Glenn, City Beneficiary Field Team, COAF Field Team on YouTube. And this round, what have I got for you? Um, well, I just finished up a live stream on Amazon. Just talking about some of the gear that we are planning on using here in the near future, hitting the coast, Galveston, for our annual run, and I'm hoping to get some of this gear set up. But while I am getting that gear set up, might as well go and talk about a few things, um, about some of that gear that you're sure you like using when we're hitting the Texas coast, specifically the Galveston fishing piers. And so with that, I'll just kind of walk through the different gear that I have. I'm short a camera. The battery ran out on it, so I had to let it recharge. So it's back there getting charged right now. But I do have the other camera, so I can show you what I'm doing. And also, I do have the chat open, so if you have any questions, comments to call out, definitely do. And hey, maybe even crack open a brewski or two while we sit here and talk fishing. And this is, again, more of an impromptu one because they already had the gear set up. Might as well start talking some fishing and whatnot. So let's just kind of let some folks join. Looks like someone has just joined. Howdy, howdy. How's it going? Hope y'all are doing good tonight. We're just going to be talking a little pier fishing and some of the gear that I like using when we hit the Texas coast. We typically do a run to the Texas coast at least once a year. And all right, Red Ghost, howdy, sweet, nice. Yeah, we typically do a run to the coast sometime in the year and try targeting some of the different fish that are out there. Use some bull reds, some small sharks and whatnot. And so what I want to do is just go over some of that gear that I went over on that Amazon live stream here just a few moments ago. So I'll just follow the same format that I used previously. We'll just start out with the rod and reel and the particular line that I like using. So let me grab that rod and reel right here. Okay. This is the Penn Squall 2. Okay. It does not have a level wind. It's the old school, you got to put the line using your thumb as you cast it, as well as you put the line back on. Shift over here. Here. Okay. You cast it right here, you release, and then as you're bringing in the line, you use this thumb to put the line back on so it lays on the reel level again. Okay. I like using this one because it doesn't have that level wind. I get the extra distance that I like when I'm fishing some of the piers, getting it out to where the fish may be lurking and whatnot. Additionally, the 6-foot rod, it's a boat rod, and I find that is about the right amount of leverage I need when it comes to catching some of these fish. We did catch a nice size stingray last year. Year before, we caught some sharks as well as some good size drum, redfish as well as black drum. So it was a fun time out there. And one thing that I definitely stress is I like using trilene big game mono, different colors and whatnot, but I keep going back to this solar green one. All right. And the reason why I like that solar green is because with the contrast of the line against the backdrop of the water, the ocean, as well as the sky, there's a tendency to lose your line as you have it set in the water. And with this high vis line, you're able to see an indication of a strike, be it going slack on you as the fish runs in, as well as if it moves left or right, you can see where your line is tending. If you go with one of the other clear they kind of disappear with that background, and you kind of have to search for it. And oftentimes you might be searching for it, and you've already got a fish that's taken and actually stole your bait already. So I like having this green solar line when I'm out there fishing. Okay, so that is it. I usually go with a match pair. So I do have same setup, same rod, but a different mono. This is that clearer. Do you use any leader to that mono? Yes, I do. In fact, I'll be going over that here in a moment and explaining, because we used to buy the leaders down on the coast, and we were finding 10, 20 bucks for some of those leaders. Kind of get expensive. So after a while, I just said, here, I'll just make my own. So I can talk about that here shortly. Okay. All right. So the next thing I want to just point out is the sinkers. Okay, where we fish, it's typically a sandy bottom, and you want to use a spider or Sputnik sinker. Okay, like so. Okay, it has these little legs that you can deploy or pull. Let's see if I can shift it over, give you a better view. So right here. Okay, and they'll sit in the water like so, and the sand will catch, and that'll hold secure. It's basically for the same amount of weight that you would with a normal sinker. These extra legs kind of help things out, and you can use lighter weight but still get a good secure hold on the bottom. But unfortunately, these babies are pretty expensive. 5, 7, 6, 10 bucks at times. All right, especially some of these bigger ones right here. Okay, so what I started doing was just making my own. All right, so I picked up one of these Do It molds. It's the claw sinker. Comes in 2, 3, and 4 ounce sizes. Okay, you get a, forgot what gauge wire. I think it's in here. Sinkers require handmade form from 18 gauge wire. So it's right here. So I just take some 18 gauge wire, cut it to the length that I want. I kind of cut them oversized, and I set them in here. And after a couple of pours, and then to warm up the mold, after that I've got some pretty good sinkers that I can start pouring. And the end result is one of these guys right here. This is the 2 ounce. Okay, and you can see I've set it up to be longer legs. Okay, because what happens is I'll tend to make the legs longer. I'll make the legs longer, and then as conditions dictate, I'll snip it to the size that I think I need while I'm out there. And what we like doing with these in particular, I call it the hedgehog. My fishing buddy suggested you take 2 legs and pull it like so, and then you take the other 2 legs and pull them forward, and now you got this kind of spider looking setup. And what happens is when we cast it out, if it gets pulled this way or if it gets pulled that way, it still gets a pretty good secure hold. All right, so that's the setup that we use when we're using for our sinkers. We've got the 2, the 3, and the 4. What typically happens though is we're usually using the 3 ounce. When the waves and whatnot kick up, we'll shift over to 4. And in other cases, we sometimes even add more weight by just doubling up on some of these guys, just because it's that heavy of a current. Right. So that is the sinker. All right. From a leader perspective, yes, we do use a leader, and we make them out of weed eater line. All right, so this is a 0.095 right here. Orange. The ones that I have right now that I made are ones using the white, but that's the same 0.095. Okay. And for the fishing that we do, typically 5-foot sharks and whatnot, a 3-foot length of this leader, okay, is all that we use. I've got a shift over. I've got a fish finder rig right here that slips, and that's where I'll attach the sinker. So here's the sinker. Okay. I've got a loop that I formed using a sleeve, and I've crimped it in place. So these sleeves right here. And this crimp right here, crimper, okay. And you make sure you get the one that has this little leveraging deal here, because you definitely need to squeeze tight on there to secure it in place. Oh yeah, weed eater line, it works really good. Supposedly, it's supposed to be rated to all the way up to 400-pound test, but hey, it's a lot cheaper than buying some of that really expensive mono. Anyways, yeah, we've caught 5-foot sharks, 200-pound stingray that we caught and released. And from the 5-foot shark, we ended up keeping it. It was a black tip. And bear with me real quick. Right here. Here's the tail of it. We do a little tail mount on here. Okay. And my fishing buddy is the one that caught this one. And he was using one of those boat rods with 30-pound test. Live stream. Yeah, so maybe locking up, but I'll keep talking, okay? And let me know if we get any technical difficulties, because it's brewski time here. All right, okay, so the other piece on the leader is I like using these swivels, all right? And in particular, the swivel that you want to make sure you have is this variety, okay? There's another kind. In fact, here, let me grab it. Here it is right here. Maybe locking up on me on the live stream. Bear with me. Okay. All right. So let me show you what I'm talking about when it comes to the one you want to avoid. Okay. So this is the one I like using. Okay. Here, and it has a locking mechanism that actually wraps itself over. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of laggy, but hopefully it'll pick up. Yeah, I'm getting another error here. Bear with me. Let me see if I can tweak it some. Okay. All right. Open widget. Okay. All right, bear with me. I'm going to see if I can fix the lagging here. Should be on ultra low. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see if that picked it up a little. Okay, so this is the swivel that has that locking mechanism that comes over the other side. The one you want to stay away from, especially when you're fishing for these big bruisers, is this style right here. Okay, so it's the one that kind of clasps into this little tab. All right, what happens is, and you can see how easy it is to pull. It'll get pulled off, and next thing you know, you'll lose your fish. Okay. See if I can get you a better view of that. Okay, so there it is right here. Okay, I'm just watching to see. All right, so here's the two different ones. Let me go ahead and old school focus it here. I got fancy fishing gear, but I don't have fancy camera equipment. Anyways, this one you don't use if you're going to be out there fishing some of those big bruisers out on the saltwater coast and whatnot. This locking mechanism will pull out on you. You want the one that you can see that locks in place over the other. Let me see if I can get you a better view. Okay, right there. Yeah, okay. So this one locks in place. So what happens is, if it does get pulled by a big bruiser like that 200-pound stingray, all it does is just tighten up some more and lock in place. Okay, so that's the one you want to use. Let's see, I I had one really big cat break my swivel. Haven't used that style since. Oh yeah, yeah, same here. I've been bit by that in the past as well. Losing some really nice sized fish that I should have landed, but my gear failed on me. And yeah, lesson learned. That's what we picked up over many years of fishing. And you know, like our motto says, learn to fish by our trials and errors. All right, so yeah, we've made a bunch of errors and we've learned from them, hopefully. Okay, the straight lock. Yeah, exactly, straight lock. All right, going back to the leader is shift over. Okay, so we've got the weight right here. That's sliding using this, basically a fish finder rig. Okay, and what's nice is it's got a locking mechanism that I can quickly switch weights as need be. And then on this side, again, I've got crimps set again. And then I've got, again, that swivel, the locking swivel. Okay. The key takeaway when it comes to the crimping, you got to make sure you crimp it. In this case, I just used two crimps to hold the sleeve in place. Is when you are squeezing down on it, you got to make sure you give it enough pressure, but you don't put too much pressure that you damage the line. Okay. And the way I can tell that mine's good to go is I can see the line is in place. I haven't crushed anything, and I still have this little gap-like thing on the end here, so I can see that my line, or that weed eater line, isn't been cut or crushed. Okay. There are some other cases where some folks will put some like a little metal protector on the loop here for the fish that we're catching, little 5-foot sharks and whatnot. It's not been an issue for us. Okay. But you do have that option. So that is the leader section, but it's only really part of the leader. This is the one weed eater section, about 2 to 3 feet long, and then from there we will make a wire leader using this single steel line, malin wire. And I like using the size 9 108-pound test when we're fishing for these particular fish in our area. Okay, and usually 18 inches, 2 feet is all you need. That gives us about a 4 to 5 foot leader, so that if we do get a shark 3 to 5 feet, you should be good to go. If you get one that's bigger, he'll roll on you, and that's where you see the old school experts with these 10, 12 foot leaders that'll allow for those bigger fish that will roll on it. We've lost some big ones because they rolled and they snapped our line or cut the line. Let's see, price, Romanok. All right, appreciate it. Thanks for joining. Appreciate the support here. Love doing these videos. A lot of fun. I can talk fishing all the time. And do stay tuned, because next week I hope to be on the coast, and maybe while I'm on the coast here, I can maybe do some live streaming there and give you a on the go, out and about update on how we're doing out on the piers and whatnot. So, and hopefully I've been able to stream from my phone fairly well, so hopefully that works out. So do stay tuned next week on the coast, maybe catching a fish or two. Okay, so talking of the Malin hardwire, I'll do a haywire twist. That's the key thing about that Malin wire, is you use a haywire twist. If you get a kink in the line, you probably need to go and replace that Malin wire, because that slight kink is probably going to be where you're going to get a break off. Okay, you will use a haywire twist, and I usually pre-make these so that I have a Ziploc bag full of these with the hooks already ready, so that I can switch it out as need be. If I'm making a whole big batch of them, I'll use the Dubro haywire twist tool. While I'm out on the pier itself, I'll just use my fingers if I'm down to, well, if I run low on these leaders, and we've had that happen in the past. One thing to call out when it comes to here on the Texas coast is you need to use a, here, let me switch. You need to use a non-stainless steel circle hook. That's the requirement for fishing for sharks on the Texas coast. Okay, they need it to rust out if it breaks off on you. The other thing is right there. You have to make sure it's a non-offset. So this is a straight back hook. Okay, if it's offset, then you're technically using an illegal hook in the state of Texas. All right. And I picked these off on Amazon, as well as I go to Walmart and pick these different ones. You can see this is more like a size maybe 3/0, 4/0. I do have some 5/0 as well as 6 and 7/0 standing by. And believe it or not, you'll be surprised what you can catch with one of these things. In fact, that one 5-footer, let me grab it real quick. That one 5-footer straightened this one hook, but you can see it's not a big one. But luckily we had a Pier net. So this is what it looks like now after the fish got a hold of it. Let me switch videos. Okay, let's see. Just subbed. I've got to see the videos on the coast. Got to head out though. Amazing date night. All right, thanks for stopping by, Red Ghost 25. Yeah, do check out the videos. I do have some old videos as well from past trips, so check it out. Appreciate it. Watching your last stream a couple of days ago. All right, cool. Thanks, Bryce. Appreciate you checking out the live streams. But it's fun. I like doing this. Okay, so here is one that caught a 5-foot sharp, and he definitely was a pretty good fight. And you can see he bent that hook, and this is what it looked like before. So there, and luckily we got him back pretty easy, or we got him landed before he could go out, get away from us. All right, so it's been fun. The run to the coast has always been a fun one for us when we hit it. Usually my fishing buddy and I will spend about a week down there. We used to go earlier in the year, but we find that going about this time of year, we miss out on all the higher prices during the normal season when everyone's on summer break. And additionally, we end up getting more room on the pier. Yeah, when there's more room on the pier, because we've gone before where it's been pretty brutal. You're the best YouTuber. Oh, appreciate it, Bryce. Just pretty much having fun. All right, and that's part of it. And the key thing that I'm hoping out of these videos is, you know, our motto is learn to fish by trials and errors, and I'm hoping well, you don't make the same mistakes that we've made over the years, and maybe you catch a fish or two. All right, so that was the hook, that was the leader, that was the wire leader, the weed eater portion of it as well. So now we need bait. Okay, what do we use for bait? Well, in the past we were using shrimp, we were using squid, we were using mullet, we were getting different baits and whatnot from the pier, from the bait shops and whatnot. And what we find is, okay, you got to freeze it, or you got to keep it cool and all that. But we found out about a particular bait that has done well for us, and it's these fish bites right here. We like the ones that are the long ones that you can cut different strips and whatnot, or sizes. This is what we use for bait, to catch the bait that we're going to use to catch the bigger fish right here. Okay. What we'll typically do is we'll catch croaker, whiting, and whatnot, and we'll put them in different, or we'll put them in a bucket that has an aerator, and we'll keep them live so that we can use them for live bait as well as cut if need be if they do. How many fishing poles do you have? No, I lost count, but I don't get rid of fishing poles anymore. Even if they break, I repurpose them. But probably over 50 or more. I lost count. Okay. And I will retire some, but for the most part, as the season changes, I will pull them down and start using different ones. Like right now, the rods that I've been using have been, and you'll probably see them in the live streams, a 9 or an 8 foot ready to pursuit 4-weight rod, 8-foot fly rod with a 2-3-weight Echo Ion fly reel. And then I've been using several ultralight bait casting reels as well. Do I have a cast net? I do. I have several. I have over here in the state of Texas, you can't go over 7 foot, I believe, the radius, or 14-foot diameter. So the one I have is a 6-foot diameter, as well as two 4-foot, and then I've got one 3-foot, and that one 3-foot is the one that I use for getting prepped for getting bait at the boat ramp for kayak fishing. Alrighty, you're trying to get a new one. All right, yeah, go for it. I do like them. I usually pick them up when they're on sale, bit at the local academy or online. But yeah, that saved me bait, or I'm able to get fresh bait pretty quickly. I don't really use it on the coast as much. When I was growing up as a kid and whatnot, fishing the Texas coast, I did have a cast net all the time with me. But for these trips, I pretty much get a bait bucket, aerator, and catch these croakers and whiting and other bait fish and keep them alive as we go for these bigger fish and whatnot. All right. So speaking of bait, okay, so I've got the bait. It's fish bites. All right. I was using these pre-made rigs. Got these off Amazon. Okay, it's got got beads on and everything, schools, and these were good for quick retie, get them all switched out and everything. But now I just tie my own, put on the snelled hook and whatnot, and then go from there using the fish bites. The other thing I like doing is some speck rig right here for sand trout and speckled trout under the lights, and I like using the H&H speck rig tandem rig. They come in twos right here, pre-rig like so, and you kind of do a little twitch or sinking action, and you get a good amount of the speckled trout and sand trout under the lights. You can get the traditional one that with that monofilament style, I guess, body, or you can get the sparkle beetle. This one seems to be working pretty good over the years. Been happy with that. Okay. And with that, especially with the sand trout, you can repurpose them and use them for bait. Speckled trout, you got to have, there's a size limit for that. Let's see. Let me go back to that high vis line again, right there. Okay, there's all kinds of expensive line and whatnot you can get, but I tend to just go get me a spool of this stuff. Trolling big game. This is 30-pound test. I also got some in 15 to 12. That's pretty much all I have when I hit the coast. And at times when we do get something spooled, in some cases, knock on wood, doesn't happen this year, but we've had that happen on us where it's been spooled. We just go run to the local Walmart or the Academy, pick up one of these, and we can get respooled really quick again. All right, but we definitely like that high vis line here. That has seemed to make a difference for yours truly over the years. All right, like being able to see that line as it moves through the water, especially if it runs in on you. If they run in on you, seeing that line and have that visibility to see that slack come in has helped our hookup rates many times over, just because we can see our line. Let's see. Sleeves, okay, with that .095 weed eater line. Out of the set that I got from Amazon, I typically just end up using the biggest one out of this set. Okay. And when it comes to this thing right here, the crimper right here, you've got several different settings. Okay. And what you'll do is you'll put it right here on, usually the last one is what I use it on, and I just give it a good squish, and that tightens it I can show you real quick. If you use the one that doesn't have that extra leverage deal to it, it's gonna be pretty hard for you to crimp your line. But you just put it on here like so. I like to put it right on the edge here. Okay, leave a little bit out and then squeeze it right there. And there's one crimp. I'll move over, do the same. Okay, for the shorter leader like this, or sleeve, it only takes 2 of these right here. 2 crimps. Okay. The longer ones I'll do 3. Okay. And that is pretty much it. If I had another one before that didn't have this extra leverage deal here, sort of like a little ratchet or something. When I didn't have that, it was brutal trying to get these bigger sleeves locked down. All right. Okay, let's lock it in place. Okay, I don't have it shown, but it's in the garage right now, is a Pier net. I highly recommend bringing a Pier net. That has made a difference, especially while we're on the different piers and whatnot, and you've got a nice size fish. It's been night and day knowing that you have that capability to be able to net your fish versus trying to horse it over, or maybe they used to have this, I think it's called the shark grabber or something grabber, leader grabber, that you could bring down onto your leader and lift up, but that's only as good as your leader, or only as good as the swivel. So it puts that extra tension on that line. You could snap the swivel, you could snap the line, but having that Pier net, it's got its own line, and it's a strong line or rope. That does make a difference when you are fishing. Okay, it gives you that confidence that whatever you caught, you can bring up onto the pier. All right. And then again, stressing make sure if you're fishing the Texas coast that you're using a non-stainless steel circle hook for sharks, and it's a non-offset. So the shaft it basically lays flat. Okay, if it has that slight offset, doesn't lay flat, then your hook isn't legal. All right. Check the regs. They may have changed it, but I didn't see it in the change in rules thing also. But heads up though, end of month. Actually, no, August 15th. I believe you can start getting your 2024-2025 Texas license, fishing license. It goes on sale. I believe starting the 15th. So yeah, mine will expire at the end of the fiscal year, so August 31st. But luckily, I'll be out on the coast fishing, and I'll still be good to go at least for then. All right. Anyone have any questions at this point? I think I've got everything. For those that just joined, I talked about the rod and reel that I like using for pier fishing. It is a conventional reel, Penn Squall 2. It's one that I've been able to use to cast for distance with a longer rod. It's up there. It's a 12-foot Daiwa rod that I can cast over 100 yards with this thing. But I like using it for pier fishing because one, it does fit well on a 6-foot rod, little boat rod. Even though it's on a pier, I'm using the 6-foot boat rod, and I'm still casting where I need to when it comes to the fish and the area that I'm fishing. And additionally, I do like that large handle. The drag has been awesome. 200-pound stingray. The only part I had to worry about was it basically spooling me. And then at least for the area that I was fishing, I do have several larger size reels, the old Penn Senators, for when we do when we do some beach fishing for sharks. But it's been a while since we've done that. We normally do that down at the Port Aransas area. Lois Keller. Hi, Lois Keller. Thanks for joining. Okay, so that was the rod and reel setup that I have. I've got 2 of them. Okay. This year we're actually going to bring 2 other boat rods. These will have level winds on them as well, and we're hoping to see if we can, be as successful as we're in the past few years as well. The sinkers that we mentioned right here, or that I was mentioning, were these spider weights. Okay, commercial variety. But yours truly has since gone to make my own. It's much cheaper. Instead of, let's see, instead of a $7-10 weight, I am getting my own weights right here that I can adjust the legs as needed based on the conditions, for much cheaper. I'd say for maybe cents, 50 cents, 25 cents. I mean, I'll even re-pour some from last year that where the galvanized wire is rusted, and I'll just replace it. And when it comes to the claw weight, or the mold itself, let's see, GoPro, start recording. Okay, right here, 2, 3, and 4 ounce right here. It's an 18 gauge wire that you bend and you fit inside the cavity itself. You shut it closed, make sure it's heated, and you pour your molten lead in there, and you're good to go. All right, just, you may have to pour a couple before you actually have the mold to temperature, but after that you're good to go. All right, and it doesn't take long to get you a whole trip's worth. And let's see, I think this one goes for like $50 or something now. When I got it, it was more like 30. But what is it? 10 of these will cost you $50, or actually 5 of these will cost you $50, or you can just get this thing right here and make your own. The weed eater line, yeah, that's right, we use it. Weed eater line for sharks and bull reds. This is the orange variety. I do have also the white one here. Okay, and I use a crimping tool right here to get everything set up. Use Malin wire for the actual hook to leader connection. Okay, it's this one right here, and this is an example of one of the setups that I have. Okay, haywire twist. I've not had any of these break off on me. Been really happy with going with this. Before we were using, I think 7-strand and this other wire, and had some failures. And ever since we switched over to this Malin wire and getting a good haywire twist, not had any issues. I'm fairly confident that whenever I catch something and then I got them hooked properly, and he doesn't spool me, that I will be able to land them. All right, we do have the case, because we are using more like a 5-foot leader, that we get any bigger sharks, they will roll on us and cut the mono portion of the line, and we'll lose them. We've had that happen, and you can pretty much tell when that happens, because you'll lose your whole rig completely after that initial run. All right, and then again the hook, right there, non-stainless circle hook, not non-offset, so it's got to lay flat. All right, so with that, that's pretty much all I had this round. Appreciate y'all joining. We did an Amazon live video, and we had everything set up, and I'm like, hey, why not go ahead and do one on YouTube, and let some of our viewers and subscribers get an idea of what we're planning for here in the next week. So this time next week, I may be doing this on one of the piers over there in Galveston, Texas. All right, so stay tuned. It'll be on my phone, but hopefully I can get you some good idea of what the action's like there on the coast. So with that, all for now. Next time, we'll catch y'all later. Good luck and good fishing. Thanks for joining.